What's the hardest part about opening a personal training studio? Today, I want to share a little bit about my experience, the problems that I have encountered, and how did I overcome them, including my own personal story, how I got from working as a forklift driver across the street in the mini plant to opening my own personal training studio just 7 months ago, back in October 2024. Well, depends on when you're watching this video, but I think it has been roughly 7 months since I opened my own personal training studio. First things first, obviously, how the idea for personal training studio came about. Well, we need to go back nearly a decade ago. And I remember CrossFit was on the rise. One of my trainers had mentioned CrossFit as training modality. And after some time, I joined a athlete center that was the only CrossFit gym in Oxford at that point. So I really liked the gym and the layout and how everything was set up in terms of that's only functional kit, no need for machines and things like that. So I was impressed at that point and I thought, wow, I would like to have something like that myself. However, the fun fact is that at that point, I didn't even consider personal training as a career, and I was working in a warehouse driving forklift. So, how the hell do we get from forklift to a personal training studio? Well, it's not a straightforward journey, it takes some time, but I don't want this video to take an hour for me explaining, so I'll leave that for the future. So, let's get on with what was the hardest part of me opening the studio. So the hardest part was overcoming yourself and the demons inside your head, to be honest, because from the moment that I thought about personal training studio, you envision how amazing it will be. You'll train people, but at the same time, with that amazement, you have a lot of self doubt and a lot of thoughts coming through through your head, which are negative, and you're thinking, will it work? Will be the worst financial decision that I made in my life? Will I have enough clients? Will I be able to afford all the equipment? How I'll get the clients? Like, so the hardest part was overcoming your own mindset with all the negativity that I had, thinking that this will not work. And to be fair, like at this stage, it's even too early to say whether it will work or not, because most new businesses go bust within first 5 years. So hopefully that's not gonna be me, because at the moment the studio is only alive for the last 7 months, and that took a lot of demons to overcome. So let me take you through the whole process a little bit. So I was watching in these units since 2023, and I had an idea to open the studio with some of my friends, which hasn't quite worked out as. I mean, my friends had some other plans and their own business ventures that they pursued, so working together didn't quite work out, and we just didn't manage to launch the plan. So 2023 June, I started looking into those units, and yeah, like our plans kind of with my friends faded away, and I stopped looking at the units. But then, like roughly 9 months later, I started looking into units for personal training studio again, because I personally realized that online coaching is not something that I want to do, even though I still have that seed in my head to help people through online coaching. But I honestly want to meet all my clients face to face, and that's how the studio idea recircled back into my head. So when I started looking into warehouse units, I came across some office and some warehouse units, which one of them was this one, because I was looking, this unit hasn't been rented for over a year. So I was quite confident that I'll be able to get this unit. And then fast forward last year, May, we met with an agent. I had the viewing. And from May onwards, we started processing the paperwork. So, what normally happens with agencies, solicitors, and all this kind of stuff, the whole process takes a long time. So, I had to write down a business proposal to the agency, then the landlord has to have a look into that business proposal, and they have to see whether that's something that they want to do within their premises and things like that. From the moment, like from May, I was hoping that when I'll write the proposal and everything, we will have all the paperwork signed by the end of July, and that was the initial plan with the agency. However, things never go as smooth and as planned. People, I think one of the agents who was predominantly dealing with my um, inquiry for this unit, he has been relocated to another part of agency business and things like that. So it took a really long time to sign off the whole lease and start basically working on those facilities. And basically, my idea was in July, we signed the paperwork. August is a quiet month in personal training, from my experience. And during that month, I was hoping that through the August, I will refurbish everything to what you see in the back, get the flooring in and things like that. And as the September starts, everyone's back to school, parents are back from holidays, things like that. I was thinking, boom, I'll catch everyone getting back into fitness, I'll sign up people, etc. But the agency had some other ideas, and due to some delays, we only ended up signing up the contract at 30th of August. So I received the keys for this unit late in the evening, 30th of August. And then my month of September to get people to sign up kind of faded away. So that was one of the major challenges. So I immediately started thinking, shit, October is not necessarily the best time to sign up people for fitness because a lot of people will start looking towards Christmas holiday and New Year's resolutions. So that was a little bit of a challenge and that created a lot of self-doubt. Now, another thing, as I got access to the unit, electricity was disconnected. That was due previous tenants not paying the electricity bills, from what I understand, that got disconnected or whatever. And I had no electricity in the unit. That's something that agency should have really looked into, and they should have not gave me the access to the unit until like electricity is resolved. However, at that time, I just wanted to get on with it, and I didn't want it to delay the process. So basically, I started working on refurbishing, painting everything, the assembling things, and etc. And during that period of time, we was like me and my partner was working with head torches till like late in the evening, so we can paint the walls and make sure that we open as early as possible in October. So that's me being very lucky and having my partner to help me with opening the while getting the facilities ready. And the official opening day was 6th of October, and or maybe 5th of October. I can't remember. I should be better at that. And for the opening day, one day before, I got the electricity restored. One day before the opening day. And it took over a month to get electricity in. So that's the second major challenge that I had. And eventually things worked out. I got electricity and I could work within the unit. Now, challenge number three that I came across was clients. So, challenge number three, the most important challenge of every business, whoever is opening. Now, I haven't really had any clients for my semi privates at that point. However, I started advertising somewhere in September, and I launched some Facebook ads to basically get people locally to know that I'm opening the studio. I messaged every single person that I have ever worked with, inviting them to an opening day. And basically, the idea is that here we are, I'm opening a studio, where you can join and things like that. And when I first started, I had two completely new people signing up and five people that I already knew signed up quite early on for my studio opening. So it was not too bad. I think I had seven new clients that I haven't had before in total. So that's far from ideal when you open like a training studio. But if I could have done things differently, I would have probably started advertising 2 weeks earlier, so somewhere mid September, expecting that we'll start training from the 7th of October. And that's what we did. And yeah, like I have managed to sign up two completely new people for completely new service that I've started. It doesn't sound like a huge amount, but keep in mind that my current capacity to welcome clients is roughly, I can have around 24 people training with me on weekly basis based on the current schedule that I have. So the capacity for the studio is also not a massive, like it will never be like 100 member studio because the service is not set up that way. So two brand new people that I have never seen was a huge win for me. I didn't look at it that way until like I'm started speaking now because it's a little bit of a reflection. But signing up two completely new people was a win for me because the 6 weeks challenge that I was advertising was £599 for 6 weeks. So I think it's fairly like reasonable way making £1,200 in sales and reactivating some of the old clients that you have trained. And here we are. So the things that I wish I knew when I was opening up, that paperwork takes longer than I would expect, then make sure that you are prepared for the unprepared, because how the hell one can know that there will be no electricity in the building for over a month from the point of signing up the lease. And that's something that you can never prepare, that you will never really know. There might be something wrong within the unit itself. Let's say there's a leak with the plumbing that you didn't notice until initial inspection and things like that. So there will be some things that you don't expect to happen, which will get in the way. And then another lesson that I learned, start advertising early on. So before you even open 2 to 3 weeks, just start advertising. And I wish I could say I didn't knew that. I was in gym school by Justin Devonshire, and that's, to be honest, when I spoke with him on the phone, that's exactly what he said. But until you kind of experience some things yourself, you don't want to believe what the mentors or people who done it know. So third lesson would be listen to what more experienced people are telling you. And in this case, I'm telling you, start advertising very early if you're planning to open your own studio. And one more thing to add is make sure that you're celebrating even the smallest wins, because signing up those two clients, it's actually amazing when you think about it. Two people for a brand new service, for a brand new studio, which is priced at a little bit more on the premium end, and you manage to sign these people up to trust you with their money and that you can help them with their fitness. This is like amazing achievement, even though it may not sound like much. But if you celebrate those small wins, that will keep you going. Now, if you enjoyed this video, I'm sure you will enjoy this one, and let me know down in the comments what questions do you have about this personal training studio, and maybe I can help you to figure out what to expect if you're planning to open your own.